Restaurants pay $40 per pound for specialty microgreens that home growers dismiss as too difficult or exotic. Yet these same varieties grow just as easily as common types when the right techniques are applied. Most gardeners stick to basic broccoli and radish microgreens, never exploring the intense flavors and unusual colors that professional chefs seek out for high-end dishes. The gap between basic microgreen growing and professional-level production comes down to understanding blackout periods, temperature manipulation, rare variety selection, and stacking systems that multiply yields without requiring more floor space. These advanced techniques transform simple countertop growing into a sophisticated operation capable of producing restaurant-quality specialty greens that command premium prices or elevate home cooking to professional standards. Learning which varieties deliver the flavors chefs crave, how darkness intensifies taste and color, and which growing systems maximize production in minimal space opens up entirely new possibilities for microgreen cultivation that go far beyond the beginner basics most growers never move past. Microgreen flavor intensity varies dramatically based on variety, growing conditions, and harvest timing, with some greens delivering mild sweetness while others produce sharp, peppery heat that rivals mature plants. Understanding flavor profiles allows growers to match specific varieties to culinary applications, rather than treating all microgreens as interchangeable garnishes. Mild, nutty varieties like sunflower and buckwheat work well in smoothies, sandwiches, and as bulk additions to salads where they add nutrition without overwhelming other flavors. Medium-intensity options such as purple cabbage, kohlrabi, and kale provide earthy, slightly bitter notes that complement rich foods like eggs, cheese, and roasted meats. Spicy varieties including arugula, mustard, and radish deliver pungent peppery flavors that intensify as plants mature, making harvest timing crucial for controlling heat levels. Micro-herbs like cilantro, basil, and shiso concentrate essential oils that mature plants take weeks to develop, producing explosive flavor in tiny leaves that professional chefs use as primary ingredients rather than mere garnishes. Growing temperature affects flavor development significantly, with cooler conditions generally producing milder, sweeter greens, while warmer temperatures intensify both bitterness and spiciness. Light intensity during the final 24 to 48 hours before harvest impacts both flavor and nutritional content, with high light exposure increasing certain compounds that contribute to taste complexity. Experimenting with harvest timing on the same tray reveals how flavor profiles shift day by day, allowing growers to dial in the exact intensity desired for specific dishes or preferences. Beyond the common varieties found in every microgreen guide, dozens of specialty options deliver unique flavors, colors, and textures that transform microgreens from simple nutrition into culinary experiences. Shiso microgreens produce an intense combination of mint, basil, and anise flavors that Asian restaurants feature prominently. Yet most seed suppliers rarely stock these seeds, and many growers never attempt them. Amaranth microgreens develop stunning magenta red coloring with sweet, earthy flavor that adds visual drama to any plate, though their tiny seeds require extra attention during seeding to achieve even coverage. Popcorn shoots, grown from standard popcorn kernels, deliver sweet corn flavor in tender shoots that work beautifully in summer salads and as garnishes for Mexican-inspired dishes. Nasturtium microgreens bring peppery heat comparable to mature nasturtium flowers, though their lower germination rates and longer growing time make them less common in home production. Sorrel microgreens provide lemony tartness that adds brightness to rich dishes, with red varieties offering additional color impact. Celery and fennel microgreens concentrate the aromatic qualities of their mature counterparts into tiny, intensely flavored leaves, perfect for fish dishes and Mediterranean cuisine. Beet microgreens produce striking red stems and veining that creates visual interest while delivering earthy, mineral-rich flavor, more complex than common greens. Lemon basil, purple basil, and Thai basil varieties each bring distinct flavor profiles that differ markedly from standard Genovese basil, allowing growers to match specific basil types to different cuisines. Barrage microgreens offer cucumber-like flavor in fuzzy leaves that work well in beverages and summer dishes, though their slower growth and larger leaves change harvest timing compared to faster varieties. Professional growers manipulate light exposure to intensify flavors, increase stem length, and develop specific color characteristics that standard growing methods never achieve. The blackout technique keeps microgreens in complete darkness for the first 4 to 7 days after seeding, forcing plants to stretch upward in search of light while developing longer, more tender stems. This controlled etiolation produces pale, blanched growth initially, but exposing plants to light for the final 2 to 3 days before harvest triggers rapid chlorophyll production and flavor development while maintaining the desirable stem length achieved during darkness. Sunflower shoots grown with blackout treatment develop 6 to 8 inch stems compared to 3 to 4 inches, with standard growing creating dramatically different presentations and textures. Pea shoots respond exceptionally well to blackout periods, producing long, tender shoots with concentrated sweetness that chefs prefer over standard short growth. The blackout period also reduces some bitter compounds that develop under continuous light exposure, resulting in milder, sweeter flavor profiles in varieties like kale and mustard that can become overly intense with standard growing. Implementing blackout technique requires light, tight covers or dedicated dark growing spaces, with even small light leaks disrupting the process and creating uneven growth. Weight plates placed on top of covered trays during blackout provide gentle pressure that stimulates stronger stem development and helps prevent mold by reducing air gaps where moisture accumulates. Monitoring trays daily during blackout remains important despite darkness, checking for adequate moisture and watching for the moment when seedlings reach the cover and signal readiness for light exposure. Timing the transition from darkness to light requires attention to variety characteristics, since different plants respond optimally at different stages, with experimentation revealing ideal blackout durations for specific varieties and growing conditions. Vertical stacking multiplies production capacity without requiring additional floor space, allowing serious home growers to produce commercial-level quantities in remarkably small areas. Purpose-built shelving systems with grow lights on each level create controlled growing zones that can support 4 to 6 trays per square foot of floor space, compared to single-level growing that manages only 1 tray per square foot. Simple wire shelving units adapted with LED light strips provide budget-friendly stacking options, though commercial microgreen racks offer better light distribution and easier tray management at higher cost. Each shelf level needs independent lighting positioned 6 to 10 inches above the growing surface, with full-spectrum LEDs providing the intensity needed for healthy development without excessive heat buildup. Air circulation becomes more critical in stacked systems where multiple humid growing trays create microclimates prone to mold and disease, making small fans essential for maintaining air movement between shelves. Temperature management in stacked systems requires attention since upper shelves naturally run warmer than lower levels, potentially affecting growth rates and flavor development between levels. Growing different varieties on each shelf level allows growers to match plants to the specific conditions each level provides, placing heat-loving basil and amaranth on upper shelves while positioning cool-preferring peas and cilantro on lower levels. Stacked systems enable continuous production by planting new trays every 2 to 3 days, creating rotation schedules that provide fresh harvests multiple times per week, rather than the single tray approach that delivers sporadic availability. The investment in a proper stacking system pays back quickly through increased production, with a 4-shelf unit producing roughly 16 trays per month compared to 4 trays from single-level growing using the same floor space. Cleaning and sanitizing protocols become more important with increased production density, requiring systematic attention to prevent disease issues from cascading through multiple trays sharing the same airspace. Hydroponic microgreen production eliminates soil entirely using growing mats or bare root methods that simplify cleanup, reduce contamination risks, and often produce cleaner, more uniform crops. Hemp growing mats, coconut coir mats, and specialized hydroponic pads provide structure for root development while allowing nutrient solution to reach plants through capillary action from water reservoirs below. These mats come pre-sized for standard trays, making setup simple, though they cost more per tray than soil-based media and require proper disposal after each crop. Bare root hydroponic growing suspends seeds on mesh screens over shallow water, allowing roots to grow down into nutrient solution while shoots develop above. Though this method works best with larger seeds like sunflower and pea that can bridge the gap between seed placement and water surface. Nutrient solution strength for microgreens requires careful attention since young plants need far lower concentrations than mature hydroponic crops, with quarter-strength vegetable formulas typically providing adequate nutrition without causing salt buildup or nutrient toxicity. The pH of hydroponic solutions affects nutrient availability significantly, with levels between 5.5 and 6.5 supporting optimal uptake for most microgreen varieties. Hydroponic systems eliminate the risk of soil-borne diseases and reduce the organic matter that feeds mold growth, though they require more precise water management since growing media holds less moisture buffer than soil-based systems. The lack of soil means hydroponic microgreens often look cleaner at harvest, with less washing needed, appealing to commercial growers and restaurants that value presentation. Transitioning from soil to hydroponic growing requires adjusting watering frequency since mats dry out faster than potting mix, though the learning curve proves minor compared to other hydroponic growing methods. Reusable mesh screens and permanent reservoir trays reduce waste in hydroponic systems, though mats and pads still require replacement after each crop unless growers invest in more expensive reusable mat systems. Temperature control allows professional growers to optimize each variety's specific requirements rather than forcing all microgreens to tolerate the same growing conditions. Cool season varieties, including peas, cilantro, and arugula, perform best between 60 degrees and 68 degrees, with temperatures above 75 degrees causing rapid decline in quality, increased bitterness, and reduced germination rates. Warm season options like basil, amaranth, and buckwheat thrive between 70 degrees and 78 degrees, struggling to germinate properly when temperatures drop below 65 degrees and developing slowly even after emergence. Most basic microgreen guides recommend room temperature growing without acknowledging these variety-specific requirements, leading to suboptimal results and unnecessary failures with temperature-sensitive types. Creating temperature zones within growing areas allows simultaneous production of both cool and warm-preferring varieties, with basement spaces or cooler rooms serving cool season crops, while warmer areas near heat sources support tropical varieties. Germination temperatures often differ from optimal growing temperatures, with many varieties germinating faster at warmer temperatures but preferring cooler conditions once shoots emerge. Radish and mustard seeds germinate within 24 hours at 75 degrees, but develop better flavor and texture when moved to 65-degree conditions after sprouting. Heat mats provide precise temperature control during germination phases, accelerating the process for slow germinating varieties like beet and parsley that can take 5 to 7 days at room temperature but sprout in 3 to 4 days with gentle bottom heat. Monitoring temperature with accurate thermometers reveals surprising variations within growing spaces, with corners near windows running 10 degrees cooler than interior areas and upper shelves in stacked systems measuring 8 degrees warmer than bottom shelves. Summer heat creates challenges for microgreen growing in many climates, making air conditioning, swamp coolers, or evening growing with artificial light necessary for maintaining quality during hot months. Winter cold poses fewer problems since supplemental heat proves easier and cheaper to provide than cooling, though drafty windows and unheated basements may require insulation or heat sources to maintain minimum temperatures. Professional microgreen mixes combine specific varieties in calculated proportions to create flavor profiles that work for particular cuisines or dishes rather than random combinations of available greens. Asian-inspired mixes blend shiso, red cabbage, mizuna, and cilantro in ratios that balance spicy, earthy, and herbal notes while providing visual contrast through varied leaf shapes and colors. Mediterranean combinations feature basil, arugula, and sorrel, creating bright, assertive flavors that complement olive oil, tomatoes, and fresh cheeses. Spicy mixes maximize heat by combining different radish varieties with mustards and arugula, appealing to customers who want intense peppery flavor without sorting individual varieties. Mild mixes use sunflower, pea shoots, and broccoli in generous proportions, adding small amounts of red cabbage or kale for color while keeping overall flavor gentle enough for children and sensitive palates. Growing mixes requires either seeding varieties separately in divided trays or carefully calculating seed sizes and germination rates to achieve even coverage when mixing seeds before planting. Varieties with vastly different germination speeds or growth rates create problems in mixed trays, with fast-growing radish overwhelming slow-developing beets or mature sunflowers shading out shorter varieties. Successful mix formulation considers harvest timing, ensuring all components reach optimal size simultaneously rather than requiring compromise where some plants are too young while others grow too mature. Color balance matters as much as flavor in professional mixes, with careful selection of green, red, and purple varieties, creating visual appeal that elevates dishes. Testing mix combinations on small scale before committing to full production prevents waste and disappointment, allowing refinement of ratios and variety selections based on actual growing results. Documentation of successful mix formulas with specific seed amounts and variety sources ensures repeatability and helps identify which combinations customers prefer over time. Increasing microgreen production from hobby scale to serious home growing or small commercial operation creates challenges that don't exist with single tray growing. Seed purchasing shifts from small packets to pounds or bulk quantities, requiring research into reliable suppliers who provide consistent germination rates and quality at wholesale pricing. Storage of larger seed quantities demands cool, dry conditions with proper containers that protect against moisture and pests while maintaining easy access for frequent use. Bulk seed storage in freezers extends viability significantly, though seeds must come to room temperature before opening containers to prevent condensation damage. Growing medium requirements increase proportionally with production, making bulk purchases of potting mix or coir essential for cost control, though larger bags require dry storage space that many homes lack. Water usage becomes significant with multiple daily crops, potentially requiring upgrades to drainage systems or dedicated wash areas that prevent household disruption. Harvest and processing time multiplies quickly as production increases, with cutting, washing, and packaging 20 to 30 trays per week, requiring several hours of dedicated labor compared to minutes for single tray growing. Refrigeration needs expand, since larger harvests can't be consumed immediately, requiring dedicated refrigerator space or secondary cooling units to maintain quality and prevent waste. Market development becomes necessary when production exceeds household consumption, whether through farmers' market sales, restaurant accounts, or community-supported agriculture arrangements that create reliable outlets for continuous harvests. Regulatory requirements vary by location, with some areas requiring commercial kitchen certification, food handling permits, or business licensing even for small-scale microgreen sales, making research into local requirements essential before scaling up. Equipment investments accumulate quickly with larger production, including multiple grow lights, additional shelving, commercial-grade scissors, food-safe storage containers, and potentially packaging materials for sales. Time management becomes critical as production scales, since microgreens follow fixed schedules that don't accommodate delayed watering or missed harvest windows, requiring commitment that hobby growing never demands. Advanced microgreen techniques open possibilities far beyond basic tray growing, allowing home growers to produce specialty varieties and quantities that match or exceed what local stores offer. Understanding flavor profiles, mastering blackout methods, implementing professional growing systems, and exploring rare varieties transforms simple microgreen cultivation into sophisticated food production. These techniques require more attention and investment than basic methods, but deliver proportionally greater rewards through superior quality, increased yields, and access to specialty varieties that command premium value. Starting with one or two advanced techniques and gradually expanding capabilities prevents overwhelm while building skills systematically. Whether the goal involves supplying family meals with restaurant-quality ingredients or developing small commercial production, these professional methods provide the framework for serious microgreen growing that goes far beyond beginner basics.